Hi guys, here from Session Music. We're at the Music Fair 2012 and I'm here at the stand for Wave Distribution, that's the one, and I'm here with
David Bryce.
David, thanks for having me, and we're standing in front of a superb product, I think, the Clara Phonic Parallel Equalizer, and that's something completely new and hasn't been here before. And what can you tell us about it?
The Clara Phonic is an unusual piece. It is an EQ. It looks to be a variation of like a parametric EQ, but it's not. The idea, as an old guy, back in the 80s, we used to put graphic equalizers in our stereos because it was easy to work, you could see up and down the bands, and you could customize the sound and make it your own. This is the idea with this piece. The idea is what we've done by, what we mean by a parallel equalizer is we take a dry signal and then an EQ'd signal and mix it back in, very similarly to parallel compression. So about 1/6 the power, the EQ'd signal, and it opens up the signal, the finished signal, just fabulously. I can take you through the piece a little bit as well if you'd like.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Basically what we've got here, it's a stereo product. There's two engines, the mid-range engine, which is called Focus, and the Clarity engine, the top engine, which is called Clarity. Also, before I start, notice that the terms that are here are not mathematical. You're not seeing frequency response or frequency ranges or anything like that. This is intentional. We think that people are intimidated by equalizers. We think that people don't understand what goes on, and with these words, we were attempting to get to the bottom part of the spectrum with unintimidating words: lift, shimmer, tight, silk, you know? And it turns out that not only are people who don't know equalizers intrigued by this, but people who know them really well are intrigued by them because they want to know what silk sounds like.
Well, because you try to find different words for frequency spectrums that will describe them best.
Yes, exactly. It's a dangerous thing in audio. One man's warm is another man's muddy, as we know. So here, let me show you the product. Basically what's happening with the mid-range engine, you have two sets of controls. First of all, let me say each one of these sections can be individually defeated. So you'll see it says out here, right in between I can defeat that section. Anyway, what's happening here in the mid-range engine is you have two frequency settings, the lift and the open setting, and I'll give you the frequency range as approximate, but there's much more going on. This is a very simplified version. So this affects bands right around 1K, this affects them right around 2K, and then you can switch between a bell and a shelf. So if I go 1K and then turn on the bell, and open it up.
Let me just quickly go to the speakers. You do that again? Okay, so
as you do that, I'm going to open it all the way up. Notice it doesn't at any point in the position sound bad. It's not possible to make.
All right, let's do it.
So it's all the way at the bottom. Back down. Now I'm going to switch up to the 2K. Open. Close. Switch over to the shelf. Back to 1K. Open. 2K shelf. Open. Notice now as I turn it down, you're missing it, aren't you?
Well, and the mix sounded good before. I wasn't thinking, well, you can do anything better with it.
But now you totally miss it, right? Okay. Now the top end engine is a little bit different. What you've got going on here is instead of a bell shelf selector, you essentially have 4 frequencies. So let me take this out. Then basically I'll come over here. You have frequency 1, frequency 2, frequency 3, frequency 4, and this is a toggle between the two. This one is about 5K-ish, 10K-ish, 20, 40. And those are approximate, and as I said, there's a bunch of other things going on. So we'll go back to the speaker, you can hear what's going on. As I go up, you'll hear, this one is very obvious. Now I'll go up to the 10K one, a little less obvious. The one I like the best, the Shimmer, the 20K one or so. Just a little, really nice one. And the last one, the Silk one, just adds a kiss right on the top. See that? Just a touch. So I come back, and it's very dangerous to open this too far up. It's tempting, but you shouldn't. This is a very subtle box.
I saw a video where the guy who designed that with you guys together, he said, well, if you think it's perfect, dial it back a notch, and then it's perfect.
That's exactly right. Yeah. It's a kind of a dangerous box in that way, because you get so addicted to it. It's like a drug in its own way. You always have it open. To me, if you pass the 12 o'clock mark, you've probably gone too far.
Yeah, and I had it in my studio for like a week, and I noticed that I didn't even have it on bypass anymore. I had it in all the time, and I said, well, why not have it like the good way from the start and not at the end.
I do the same. I do the same. Okay, so basically for me, the ones I like the best, I mean, that depends on the program material, but the one I tend to default to, I like the lower one with the shelf, opened up to about there, and then I love the shimmer setting, just a kiss of it on top.
Okay, now let's do that one thing. You have that turned on, and well, we think it sounds good, and we don't hear the difference to before, but let's do it on bypass, like for the whole section.
There's about a minute. Subtle now.
And usually with a standard equalizer, we'd say, well, it sounds unnatural at some point when you turn it up too much, but with this one, it fits right in the mix.
Absolutely. Another very cool thing you can do, if you really want to hear what's going on, these switches in the center, what happens here is if I flick this, it kills the dry signal entirely. So all you can hear is just the littlest kiss of the signal that's getting through. That's just the EQ'd signal now. Then
okay. So you can definitely hear what it is added.
Sure. If I take this down, see it goes away. I bring it back up just a little bit, not much, and then
there it is again.
Very useful tool.
So completely new product, completely new range of equalizer, and we're looking forward to seeing that in more, hearing it in more mixes on the drums is one example. The guys should definitely check out the video on the website for Kush Audio. There is a demo for drums and for like the whole mix.
It's an outstanding, and why it's an outstanding demo, the guy doesn't say a word. He just basically sits there and turns the knobs and you can totally hear what the product is doing. It's an excellent demo.
So thank you, David. From Waves Distribution, make sure to check out the other UBK products. There's also a plugin called UBK1. Yeah. And I heard that it has the most awesome license agreement in the setup that I ever read. It says, please don't do like an illegal copy, but it doesn't have like 6 pages of legal agreement. It says, well, please just don't do it. Yeah, it's like a basic sentence and there it is, and use the plugin and have fun.
We're musicians, that's the thing. At the end of the day, there's guys who do this who are theory guys, who are engineers just building stuff because they don't use it. Greg Scott, UBK, is an absolute musician. He spends his life making music and thinking about music. All of us do. So we tend to really err on the side of that. We're not going to do long legal disclaimers. We go, dude, don't steal our stuff, okay? Please. Thank you.
So make sure to check that out. And if you are a musician who wants to make his or her sound better without thinking too much about frequencies and how do I do that, that's the one to go with. From Session Music over and out with the UBK, Kush Audio, Clara Phonic Equalizer.